I want to show you an update on Smokey. He's one of the horses that came in from Montana for us to work, and he also was one of the ones that we were having issues with rearing up, and that is much better. He still has another issue where he walks off when we're getting on him, but that particular issue is pretty much going to take care of itself. As you see right here, he's kind of fidgety. He had been ridden when he came, but he was still really green, and he's fidgety. He's a little worried about being ridden. He's a little worried about what's going to happen. And after he gets comfortable with what's happening, this moving around when we go to get on is pretty much going to take care of itself. We'll reach a point where we might work specifically on that, but most of the time, once they relax to what's being done with them, the moving when we get on becomes a non-issue, and that's where it really comes into play. Where to know how horses progress in training, and at this point, you could spend a lot of time working on the standing still, and you could get it done. You could teach him to stand still, but that's that much time that you're not going to have on his back riding out, when the standing still issue is actually going to take care of itself. And there's no reason to spend time working on an issue that's going to go away on its own. That's the way I look at it. As you see here, Robert's getting ready to get on. He's moving around a little bit, and Robert's just going to swing up there and ride. And you see he's a little bit nervous right here, right in the beginning, and that's what I'm talking about. He was worried about what was going to happen, but as that goes away, as the worry goes away, and he relaxes, then he'll start standing still. You see Robert's just kind of steering him around. Smokey's kind of moving off a little bit quick, and when he does, Robert steers him around in a circle. We don't want to pull back on both reins, because that's what creates the rearing up problem. When you have a horse that's popping up in the front end, steering them around in a circle and pushing them forward is the answer. That's the fix. So it's a kind of a fine line we have to walk here, where not encouraging him to pop up in the front end, but also working on the standing still to get on. The two things have to be worked on together, and if you really dwell on the standing still, there's a good chance the popping up will come back. So it's a matter of being smart with what you're working with. Here Robert's walking around the arena a few times. He wants to get him to relax in the arena, make sure he steers, and you see now he's like a totally different horse than he was the first 20 seconds that Robert was on his back. And as we ride him, that's going to continue to get better. Robert's going to ride out in just a minute. He'll leave the covered arena. He'll ride out back, ride around our cow pasture in the back. Smokey's going to be used primarily for moving cows and checking fence. The owner has a pretty good sized ranch in Montana, and that's what his job is going to be. So now that we have him relaxing to being ridden and actually riding pretty nice, we'll start a little bit of some versatility ranch stuff with him, to get him kind of working as a using horse. Even though he is a walking horse, there's some things that we can get him to do that'll make him a pretty nice using horse. If they need to doctor on a cow or drag a cow or something like that, we can get him where he'll rope off of and hold a cow. So here Robert's going to go out the gate and ride out back. There's a bridge he has to cross, and various things that he has to walk over, and here Robert's coming back. He was out back in our back pasture for probably about 15 minutes riding back there. Not a real long time, but enough for him to see a lot. We don't want to come back in the arena and immediately step right off, and sometimes we'll actually come back in the arena, make a loop, and then head back out to the pasture, especially if we have a horse that's really wanting to just stop when they get into the arena. But Smokey's really has a pretty nice attitude towards being ridden, towards doing something, and pretty much just like you see him walking around in here, that's what he rode like in the back. He crossed the bridge. He scooted a little bit once or twice in a couple of places, but nothing drastic. It's mainly just miles, just saddle time's going to take care of it. Nothing real specific, nothing real drastic. His steering around. His steering is pretty nice. We're just riding him in a snaffle bit. When he gets further along, we'll change that so he'll gait a little bit better. But right now, it's just in a snaffle bit, working on steering and stop. Way different picture than what we had when he was wanting to pop up in the front end. His head was way up and way resistant then, and lots of issues there that we just basically just put saddle miles on him and rode out. We really didn't do anything special working on those issues. Like I said, with the popping up, the answer to that was pull one rein and send forward. But that hasn't been an issue in a little while. I think that's pretty much over. So I'll put a link here to his playlist on YouTube. We've got a few videos of him, and you can go back and look at how we work that popping up, that little bit of rear that he was doing, if you have a horse that's doing that. So his playlist will be up here if you're watching on YouTube. Until next time, thank you for watching.